Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Go the Distance podcast series. My name is Sadie, and you can find my social media links at milehighradio.com/go-the-distance. If you're interested in joining in the conversation during the recordings of these episodes, please join my group on Facebook to receive notifications about when I go live. I usually record episodes on Saturdays, so keep an eye out for them on Saturdays. Depending on the week, I might do it on a different day. But anyways, thank you, and a huge shout out to Lynn Burnett and Mile High Radio for making all of this possible. And today I will be talking about finding your passion. So when I went on a mission trip in college, I went to Jamaica, and we did an activity one evening where we got together as a group and we talked about, we meet every night and talk about our day and kind of what happened and what we did and kind of any questions that we had or any thoughts. So anyways, we did an activity where we chose 3 words that we would live our lives by. And the 3 words that I chose were serenity, passion, and faith. So today I'll talk about passion, and then in the next upcoming 2 episodes, I will talk about serenity and faith. So passion is what makes life enjoyable and meaningful. Without passion, life is dry and boring. With passion, people feel alive and like they have a purpose. If you have ever watched someone doing something they really love and enjoy, you know what I mean. So there's those people out there who, when they're creating art or helping people or, cooking or teaching or whatever it might be, when you watch them, they're just so happy and in the moment and enjoying every part of everything that they're doing. And for a long time, I'd see these kinds of people and I'd ask myself, like, how are they so happy? Like, how do they not have a care in the world? And they're just like so involved in what they're doing and they're so happy with what they're doing. And they're, you don't see like that stress or that anxiety or the trials of life in these kinds of people. You see like true happiness and true passion. And when I was in Jamaica, that's when I really decided, like, this is what, like, passion is what I want in my life. I want to be doing things with passion. I want to have meaning. I want to find things enjoyable. Actually, I guess just quickly, I might as well get the dictionary.com version or definition of passion. So it says, any powerful or compelling emotion or feeling, as love or hate, strong amorous feeling or desire, love and/or. It also says an instance or experience of strong love or sexual desire, a person towards whom one feels strong love or sexual desire, and a strong or extravagant fondness, enthusiasm, or desire for anything. The object of fondness or desire. So passion can mean a lot of different things, but for the topic of this show, I just want to talk about it in a really general way of having, that strong emotional connection with what we're doing and what we're engaged in and who we're engaging with, and just finding those moments of pure happiness and joy within the moment and within the interaction and the activity. I know for myself, when I do something with passion, I feel fully engaged and I don't even notice the passage of time. It's just like what I'm doing is so engaging and so enjoyable that there's nothing else on my mind except for what I'm doing. And I feel a sense of really true happiness, and I feel fully invested in what I'm doing. So I feel like I'm not being distracted by other thoughts about other things that aren't part of the present moment. And I guess a part of being passionate about what you're doing is being truly present and being fully aware and fully in that moment, as opposed to thinking about the past or worrying about the future, which as I've talked about a lot of anxiety and depression, that's what, like for me, depression means worrying or thinking about the past, and anxiety is worrying about the future. And when you truly engage in something wholeheartedly, that's when you can escape those feelings of worry and fret and the past and the future and all of these things. For myself, like when I start drawing, sometimes I just like zone right in, and just that's what I'll do for hours, and nothing really distracts me or takes my mind away from that present moment and that activity that I'm engaged in. Some people go through life just taking things as they come and letting joy and excitement pass them by. And while that might be okay for them, I do not subscribe to that type of boredom. For a long time, I allowed myself to just, wake up, go to work, come home, do work, clean my house, go to bed, and I wasn't really engaging myself in activities that I enjoyed, and that wasn't a good time for me. I wasn't feeling satisfied. I wasn't feeling, like I truly cared about what I was doing with my own time, and life was just passing me by. And my depression was getting worse, my anxiety was getting worse, and I just found that as I found things that I enjoyed doing and that I felt passionate about doing, it was easier for me to get into that headspace, those moments of engagement, and allowing the time to pass without realizing. And those moments are really valuable when you actually are so engaged in what you're doing that you don't even notice that time's passing, because you're fully present, you're fully there, and you're fully engaged with what you're doing. And as I said before, you're not being distracted by thoughts of the past or worries about the future. Satisfaction can be found in passion. And feeling satisfied is such a great feeling. There's no other feeling like the feeling I get when I finally accomplish a goal or finish a project. It feels so great to step back and look over all that you've done. And it's just great to reflect on the process that you went through and the growth that took place within yourself. Excuse me. So for me, like when I try my best to get engaged in something that, that I'm not really like 100% into, it takes a lot of mental effort to be there and to enjoy what you're doing and to try to be happy. But when I find something that I just like and I just enjoy and it's not forced, those are the true moments where I feel fully satisfied, and I feel like my life has a purpose. And in order to achieve that kind of a sense of satisfaction and purposefulness, it's important that you are able to take time for yourself and be in the moment. And with the quick pace of life and society that we have right now, it's so easy to just get caught up in the momentum of the daily grind of, like I said before, going to work, coming home, cooking, cleaning, doing more work, going to bed, getting up, doing the same thing over and over, rinse and repeat. But we have to kind of be aware of ourselves and the way we're using our time. As I've said before, I'm a teacher, and with my students, sometimes I'll just write like 24 hours on the board, and then I'll subtract 8 hours. Well, if with my students, I do like 10 or 12 hours for sleeping, and then subtract 6 or 7 hours for school, and then subtract 2 hours for eating, say like over the day. And then you see what you're left with, and it kind of opens your eyes up to say like, wow, I have all this extra time in the day, and what am I doing with it? And when I did that for myself, I found that I had a lot more free time than I realized. I was just wasting it doing meaningless things that just basically pass the time, and they don't really give me anything, like scrolling on Facebook. Or not that that's not a good thing, but you can spend a lot of hours just sitting there semi-engaged in what you're doing, and it's not the same kind of satisfaction as when you have a project or a goal that you're working towards. For me, like, I have art projects on the go a lot of the time, and when I finally get one finished, it's like, okay, yeah, like, I know this took a long time, but I started here and I did all of these different things, and now I can feel proud of the work that I've done. And sometimes when I finished it, I'm not really all that proud of the final product, but it's more about the process and about the steps that I went through to create the art. And that's another thing, kind of a side point, we get so stuck on product. We're so focused on the product and on the end result, we forget that half the enjoyment is in the process, and that's kind of like life. It's all about the walk that you take through life, not just about, the end goal of having a mansion full of beautiful things and, friends and family and all these things. Well, it's always about friends and family, but it's so easy to get caught up thinking about the end result that we sometimes forget about the walk along the way, and we need to take time to stop and smell the roses and actually enjoy our time. Because if we let life just fly by, it will, and we'll get to being old and gray and sitting there wondering, well, what did I do with my life? I just worked it away. Oh, well, that's not so great. That's not great for me anyways. I guess for some people that might be what they want, and that's your own thing, but for myself, I want so much more out of my life that I just have to keep working towards my goals and my projects, and eventually things will fall into place. And yeah. So I find passionate people so inspiring, because when you look at them, you see their true happiness and joy in what they're doing. They are there's just almost like a light that shines off of them. And like I was saying before, sometimes you see these people and you're just like, whoa, like whatever they're doing is really working for them. They've got something great going on. And I want that for myself, and I want that for everyone. And in order for people to find that passion and that joy, we need to be able to slow down and take life, one step at a time, instead of just rushing for that end product or that end goal or that, and that big picture, because you have to enjoy the ride as much as you enjoy the ending. Otherwise, probably the ending won't be as satisfying when you get there. Successfulness and passion walk hand in hand down the winding road of life. So when you are really passionate and you really love what you're doing, people are gonna recognize that, and people are gonna see that, and people want to support people who are full of life and full of joy and full of passion, because that's what they also want for themselves. And by expressing that passion to not only to your close friends and family, but sharing your passion with the world, it opens up opportunities for success, and not only just for success for yourself, but also success for others, because people can learn from what you're doing and take a lesson from how you take an approach on life and how you handle your situations. People who are successful and passionate can help people who have a hard time with those things, just by talking about it and allowing people to ask questions and being available to communicate with them. Being successful is not easy, and it takes a lot of hard work. And for people who really give it their all and keep trying and keep pushing forward, and they don't allow those failures to get them down, they just get up the next day and say, all right, life, we got this, let's go. That's where true success is built from, is from having this attitude of never giving up and always pressing on and always, stepping that step forward. Even if you've just finished falling back 10 steps, get up, keep stepping forward, because that's all you can do. If you're not going forward, you're probably going backwards, because life doesn't stand still. Got to go the distance. So I've got 5 tips on how to find your passion. Tip number 1, be in tune with yourself. Listen to your inner thoughts and feelings about what you enjoy and what you do not. Sometimes we feel like we have to keep doing this thing because we've always done it and it's part of our identity, it's part of who we are, but maybe you've had your time with that, and maybe that season of your life is over, and it's time for you to find something else to be passionate about and to get involved in. And if you listen to your inner thoughts and feelings about what you're doing, and you're really in tune with yourself, then you can make those little adjustments to make sure that you're still feeling satisfied and feeling that sense of joy and happiness in what you're doing. But if you're not in tune with yourself, it's easy to let the stress of life just barrel down on you and just keep you, in that rat race of life. Tip number 2, take time for yourself and for activities you enjoy. So like I said, don't just, wake up, go to work, come home, work some more. Make sure you have time for you and for something you enjoy. And even if you have no one else to enjoy that activity with, who cares? Do it anyways. It gives you something to talk about. It gives you something to have a conversation with someone about, even if they weren't a part of it, you could still talk to them about it later. And you never know, maybe that person will see your passion and want to join in. Tip number 3, build on your interests. So say you started off as a kid super passionate about hockey cards, and now you're super passionate about fantasy hockey. Is that a thing? Fantasy hockey leagues. Well, maybe you're starting to take an interest in art. So maybe you could draw, like bring that hockey passion into your art passion. Keep building on it. Don't just let yourself get stuck in that activity and become monotonous and boring. I don't know if monotonous was the right word. Anyways, tip number 4, be a lifelong learner. Something I learned in college and university is that you can never know everything. There's always something else to know, because as soon as you think you know something about a topic, the information around that topic can change, because new information is always surfacing, and new ideologies and new theories. And be a lifelong learner. Always keep learning. Being a lifelong learner is a really important part of aging successfully as well, because it keeps your brain active and it keeps your neurons firing, and it helps prolong your mental health. Tip number 5, and my final point for today: even when things are hard, keep trying. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake. It doesn't matter if things don't quite go the way you've planned. What matters is that you get back up and you keep going. You keep trying. Try it again. Try it differently. Try it in a different way. Try it again. Just keep trying. If life knocks you down 7 times, you got to get back up 8. And just keep going, keep trying, keep doing it. Eventually you'll get there. I've been seeing this quote on Twitter a bunch, and it says, don't worry about, how did it go? Don't worry about the time that how much time it'll take to do something, because the time's going to pass anyways. And it's so true. If you just sit there and don't do anything, your time's going to pass anyways. When you look back, are you going to be satisfied with just sitting there doing nothing? Or would you feel more satisfied if you looked back and saw all of these projects and goals and things that you were able to achieve along the way? So thank you for tuning in. It's been a blast. We'll see you next week. And remember, go the distance, because life doesn't stand still.